Hello YouTube, this is Lucas, the Prince of Darkness, and I have a bit of confession to make. I am a Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I have been for a long time. From watching his cartoons, to playing his video games, to reading his surprisingly good comic book series. Like, seriously, if you have a comic book store near you and you like Sonic the Hedgehog, pick this up. You will enjoy it like nothing else. Funny thing about the comic book series is no one ever really talks about it. Everyone talks about the games. Everyone talks about the TV shows. No one talks about the comics. No one. Ever. And I mean ever. They never talk about it. Well, I'm going to sit here and tell you why you should be hyped for this comic book series. Well, to begin with, if you're a longtime Sonic fan or a new Sonic fan, you need to understand where this series comes from. Years ago, there was a cartoon, a really popular Sonic cartoon called Sega Sonic, which was a fancy title everyone gave it, but its actual title was Sonic the Hedgehog. Unlike in the video games where Eggman's a would-be conqueror trying to conquer the world with all of his robots that have tiny little animals stuffed inside of them, only to be stopped by Sonic. In this cartoon, Robotnik's already taken over the world. The world is his oyster, and anyone who isn't under his control is just living in his world. So yeah, this Robotnik is 10 times more dangerous than the video game Eggman. So, is there anything else you should know? Well, the cartoon eventually did end, but people loved it so much. They loved the characters, they loved Sonic himself, but what a lot of people didn't talk about is that while the cartoon ended, it did get continued by Archie in the form of a comic book series, which is the same series I'm holding right now. Which means it technically never died. Sure, they changed the animation over time and they tried to make up excuses as to why Sonic's eyes suddenly turned green and he didn't, now he's taller and all that. Some of it good, some of it meh, but they've done a good job on the Sonic the Hedgehog comic. It's really good. They added a lot of characters. They added Scratch, Grounder, and Coconuts from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. They added numerous video game characters from Knuckles, the Chaotix, Shadow and Rouge, Omega, Blaze and Silver. They added so many good characters from the video games and put them into the comic book series. So yeah, there's a lot of good characters. Plus there's original comic book characters like Shard the Mecha Sonic. You'd have to read the comics to understand what that's about, but there are a lot of good characters, a lot of good comics, a lot of good stories. This series, you might be thinking, I don't know, a comic book based off of a video game character. It's actually really good. They innovate all the video game mechanics beautifully into this series, and there are some really good story arcs too, and they're not like story arcs that just pop up out of nowhere. These are story arcs that are built up to. Things build up in this series. Like, hey, 1 second, oh, we're noticing these weird tremors all over the place. All of a sudden, the world shatters. And it's not something that's like, oh, the world just shatters. No, it's like something weird's happening. They're seeing weird tremors, weird energy spikes, and all of a sudden the world starts shattering, and they're too late to save the world. They actually have build-up to their events. They have build-up to everything in the comics. So that just makes it all the more fun. Plus, which is one of my favorite parts about this comic book series, all the characters are fleshed out more. Because some of the characters in the games pretty much had stale personalities in comparison to the comic books. Take Omega, E123 Omega. In the video games, he's just one of Eggman's robots that went rogue, and that's about it. In the comics, he has an actual personality. He has a very destructive personality. Like when Blaze the cat nearly burns him to ashes, he says, "I'm in love. Please come with me. We can destroy beautiful things together." And I'm like, wow, I did not expect that. But probably hands down the funniest thing I've seen Omega do. Long story short, Gun has this huge mission that Shadow and Rouge and Omega are supposed to go on. And they're supposed to place a nuclear device to blow up this. I'm not going to spoil anything, but they're supposed to use a nuke. They're supposed to deliver it, and while they're looking at the nuke, Omega just puts a hand on it and says, "She's beautiful." He fell in love with a nuke. A killer robot fell in love with a nuke. Do I need to say anything else? And so many other characters are really well done. They're not just one-dimensional from their video game counterparts. Everyone's got more developed personalities. Like, there's actually tension between Sonic and Tails from one point in the comic books, and it just builds up over time, only to have like a huge explosive two-part event, which was really well done, and I was lucky to buy it myself. So if you're interested in comic books and Sonic the Hedgehog, I would highly recommend reading this series. Whether you're an old classic Sonic the Hedgehog fan or a brand new Sonic fan, this is the book for you. So, until Eggman gets his own comic book series, I guess I'll see you guys later. This is the Prince of Darkness, signing off.